Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining. Share my screen. Start her, please. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagna Nandita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kankarati Vachanam Pangamaga Thiram Kripa Tamham Bande Shri Gurundim Taranam. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Just a quick thing, Ma. We are seeing your notes also. Like we are seeing the entire presenter view. Yeah.
Second.
Good now.
Let me reshare because I might need my notes. How do I stop this, Prabhuji?
Sorry.
How do I?
There is something called swap presenter view or something like that up top in the menu. Is this PowerPoint or Google Sheets?
This is
You're done.
PowerPoint, Prabhuji. No,
You're done.
it's, but it didn't change anything for me.
So basically, you need to be able to see the notes, but we should be able to see the thing. Now, so if you can, go ahead.
So you should share that part and the full screen, and you should be able to see that one. Just share that one. Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry for the technical glitch. So yeah, I'll start with seeking blessings from all of you and seeking forgiveness in advance before I start speaking. More or less, this comes like what I'm trying to present. The topic of truthfulness, the quality is very close to my heart. So I'm really grateful to Jagannath Gopal Prabhu for giving me this quality, and I'm very grateful to the devotees for helping me out with this. Kalkumar Prabhu, Anjali Gopi Mataji, Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu for helping me with this and for all the blessings I have received. Thank you, Nitya Mataji, for all your encouragement, and thank you, Saraswati, for beautiful darshans of Kalachandji. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the character I chose for this is Bali Maharaj. Oopsie. So, first, we are going to read some verses like the way we have been doing it. And oh God. There we go. So I might need like 4 devotees to read around 10 verses each. If anyone is interested, they can raise their hands. Yes, Jagannath.
So from 29 to which verse I should go?
29 to 39, Prabhuji.
29
Actually, you can finish this chapter, 29 to 43.
Okay. Understanding Lord Vishnu's purpose, Shukracharya, the best of the learned, immediately spoke as follows to his disciple, who was about to offer everything to Lord Vamanadev. Shukracharya said, O son of Virochan, this brahmachari in the form of a dwarf is directly the imperishable supreme personality of Godhead Vishnu. Accepting Kashyapa Muni as his father and Aditi as his mother, he has now appeared in order to fulfill the interests of the demigods. You do not know what a dangerous position you have accepted. You do not know what a dangerous position you have accepted by promising to give him land. I do not think that this promise. I do not think this. Actually, somebody else can continue, please.
I can continue, Prabhuji. I do not think that this promise is good for you. It will bring great harm to the demons. This person, falsely appearing as a brahmachari, is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who has come in this form to take away all your land, wealth, beauty, power, fame, and education. After taking everything from you, he will deliver it to Indra, your enemy. You have promised to give him 3 steps of land in charity, but when you give it, he will occupy the 3 worlds. You are a rascal. You do not know what a great mistake you have made. After giving everything to Lord Vishnu, you will have no means of livelihood. How then shall you live? Vamandev will first occupy the 3 worlds with 1 step, and then he will take his second step and occupy everything in outer space, and then he will expand his universal body to occupy everything. Where will you offer him the third step? You will certainly be unable to fulfill your promise, and that I think that because of this inability, your eternal residence will be in hell. Learned scholars do not praise the charity which endangers one's own livelihood. Charity, sacrifice, austerity, and fruitive activities are possible for one who is competent to earn his livelihood properly. They are not possible for one who cannot maintain himself. Therefore, one who is in full knowledge should divide his accumulated wealth in 5 parts: for religion, for reputation, for opulence, for sense gratification, and for the maintenance of his family members. Such a person is happy in this world and in the next. One might argue that since you have already promised, how can you refuse? O best of the demons, just take from me the evidence of the Bhavricha Shruti, which says that a promise is truthful preceded by the word Om and untruthful if not. The Vedas enjoin that the factual result of the tree of the body is the good fruits and flowers derived from it. But if the bodily tree does not exist, there is no possibility of factual fruits and flowers. Even if the body is based on untruth, there cannot be factual fruits and flowers without the help of the bodily tree. When the tree is uprooted, it immediately falls down and begins to dry up. Similarly, if one doesn't take care of the body, which is supposed to be untruth, in other words, if the untruth is uprooted, the body undoubtedly becomes dry. The utterance of the word Om signifies separation from one's monetary assets. In other words, by uttering this word, one becomes free from attachment to money because his money is taken away from him. To be without money is not very satisfactory, for in that position one cannot fulfill one's desires. In other words, by using the word Om, one becomes poverty stricken, especially when one gives charity to a poor man or beggar one remains unfulfilled in self realization and in sense gratification. Therefore, the safe course is to say no. Although it is a falsehood, it protects one completely. It draws the compassion of others toward oneself, and it gives one full facility to collect money from others for oneself. Nonetheless, if one always pleads that he has nothing, he is condemned, for he is a dead body while living, or while still breathing, he should be killed. In flattering a woman to bring her under control, in joking, in a marriage ceremony, in earning one's livelihood when one's life is in danger, in protecting cows and Brahminical culture, or in protecting a person from an enemy's head, falsity is never condemned.
Thank you so much, Pooji. Would anyone like to read? Like, there are 16 more verses. Yes, Nani Didi. Thank you.
Sri Shukadev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, when Bali Maharaj was thus advised by his spiritual master, Shukracharya, his family priest, he remained silent for some time, and then, after full deliberation, he replied to his spiritual master as follows. Bali Maharaj said, As you have already stated, the principle of religion that does not hinder one's economic development, sense gratification, fame, and means of livelihood is the real occupational duty of the householder. I also think that this religious principle is correct. I am the grandson of Maharaj Prahlad. How can I withdraw my promise because of greed for money when I have already said that I shall give this land? How can I behave like an ordinary cheater, especially toward a Brahman? There is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness. Because of this, Mother Earth once said, I can bear any heavy thing except a person who is a liar. I do not fear hell, poverty, an ocean of distress, fall down from my position, or even death itself, as much as I fear cheating a Brahman. Up, please. My lord, you can also see that all the material opulences of this world are certainly separated from their possessor at death. Therefore, if the Brahman Vamandev is not satisfied by whatever gifts one has given, why not please him with the riches one is destined to lose at death? The Rishi, Shibi, and many other great personalities were willing to sacrifice even their lives for the benefit of the people in general. This is the evidence of history, so why not give up this insignificant land? What is the serious consideration against it? O best of the Brahmins, certainly the great demoniac kings, who were never reluctant to fight, enjoyed this world, but in due course of time, everything they had was taken away except their reputation, by which they continue to exist. In other words, one should try to achieve a good reputation instead of anything else. O best of the Brahmins, many men have laid down their lives on the battlefield, being unafraid of fighting, but rarely has one gotten the chance to give his accumulated wealth faithfully to a saintly person who creates holy places. By giving charity, a benevolent and merciful person undoubtedly becomes even more auspicious, especially when he gives charity to a person like your good self. Under the circumstances, I must give this little brahmachari whatever charity he wants from me. O great sage, great saintly persons like you, being completely aware of the Vedic principles, for performing ritualistic ceremonies and yagyas, worship Lord Vishnu in all circumstances. Therefore, whether that same Lord Vishnu has come here to give me all benedictions or to punish me as an enemy, I must carry out his order and give him the requested tract of land without hesitation. Although he is Vishnu himself, out of fear he has covered himself in the form of a Brahman to come to me begging. Under the circumstances, because he has assumed the form of a Brahman, even if he irreligiously arrests me or even kills me, I shall not retaliate, although he is my enemy. If this Brahman really is Lord Vishnu, who is worshipped by Vedic hymns, he would never give up his widespread reputation. Either he would lie down having been killed by me, or he would kill me in a fight. Sri Shukadev Goswami continued. Thereafter, the spiritual master Shukracharya, being inspired by the Supreme Lord, cursed his exalted disciple Bali Maharaj, who was so magnanimous and fixed in truthfulness that instead of respecting his spiritual master's instructions, he wanted to disobey his order. Although you have no knowledge, you have become a so called learned person, and therefore you dare be so impudent as to disobey my order. Because of disobeying me, you shall very soon be bereft of all your opulence. Shukadev Goswami continued, even after being cursed in this way by his own spiritual master, Bali Maharaj, being a great personality, never deviated from his determination. Therefore, according to custom, he first offered water to Vaman Dev and then offered him the gift of land he had promised.
Thank you so much, Nandini. Let's share my screen again. So just now we read some verses. So initially we saw that Shukracharya, the guru of Bali Maharaj, he was trying to convince him to break his promise, and he gave various reasons, trying to manipulate how to like break that promise so that he doesn't give the lands that he promised to Vamandev. And later we saw how uh, Bali Maharaj, he delivered, how he nicely delivered his integrity, his will of being truthful, staying truthful. He gives those reasons, and how nicely he spoke to his guru, even though he still got the curse from his spiritual master. He still offered those three lands to Vaman Dev. So let's get into it. So one of the verses that came in while we were reading was that there is that Bali Maharaj tells Shukracharya that there is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness. Because of this, Mother Earth once said, I can bear any heavy thing except a person who is a liar. So nowadays, like in the Kali Yuga, Prabhupada writes in the purport that even in the most common dealings, people are accustomed to speaking so many lies, and no one is free from the sinful reaction of speaking any lies. So, based on that, like, I'd be really amazed and would be paying my obeisances if there is one of us like who has never in their life lied. So, going in that direction, like, just a quick question, like, what makes something true for you? Like, all that you're present here, like, how do you believe whether something is true or not? Let me see my screen. Yeah. Like, even in your general life dealings, if I'm saying something to you, how would you believe that? Like, even me saying all these things right now, how would you believe if I'm going to tell you the truth or not?
By checking with the facts,
Mm.
and there is a baseline,
Mm.
and if we stick to the baseline, then it's truth. But if the absence of the baseline, I'm not sure. Then we go by others' opinion, or others' what do you call, a statement of it, who are authorized to give. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Precisely.
a fact and then authorized statements. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. Precisely. So the term, like the truth, so it has been in Sanskrit, like in various scriptures, including Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, CC, has been like there are two terms that have been translated as truth. One of them is Satya or Satyam, the other one is Tattva. So both of them have been used for absolute truth or the knowledge of the absolute truth. Tattva is mostly used for the knowledge of the absolute truth. While Satya or Satyam is mostly used for in general truth or again the absolute truth. So the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam as well, it ends with Satyam Paramam Dhimahi. I meditate upon the absolute truth. So before going into before briefly looking over what absolute truth is, so as Nitya Mataji said, truth is fact. So there are some common terms that are in the same ballpark of truth: honesty, integrity, ethics, authenticity. All of them are very much close to each other, and all of them are related to truth. So basically, truth is a fact, as Mataji precisely said, and honesty is an act of speaking that truth. It's the quality, it's the function that you're doing, it's the activity that you're doing that comes under honesty. And Radhanath Maharaj, he mentions that when we are being truthful to others, it's honesty, and when we are truthful to ourselves, it's integrity. So all these terms, they are quite closely related. And now, when we are understanding the fact, so when we address the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we say the absolute truth. Does anyone know why we say the absolute truth? I never paid attention, what's the opposite of absolute truth? That was me in my ignorance. If anyone here knows, why is it that we address the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the absolute truth? And what would be the opposite of it? What's the other term for it?
So the opposite of absolute truth is relative truth. This from a technically philosophical perspective, in the sense that the Lord's identity is not dependent on anything else. So it's not material. Like my identity as Jitendra is contingent upon my parents giving it to me. So, but that's not the case with Lord. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yes, exactly. So absolute truth is permanent. Krishna is the absolute truth. It's not temporary. It's not relative, as Prabhuji said, to the other circumstances. It's not temporary. He is the absolute truth. And there is even verse in Bhagavad Gita that everything emanates from the absolute truth, 10th chapter. So even the Kevala Ashtakam that Gaurakumar Prabhu, he sweetly sang, there's this line, Satyam Satyam Puna Satyam Harer Nam Ev Kevalam, emphasizing on that truthfulness of the absolute truth. But why truth is so important? Why is this mentioned? Why is this mentioned as one of the qualities? So there is this Bhagavad Gita verse where it's mentioned how truth is one of the four pillars of religion. It's one of the four legs of religion. So the other four are austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and the fourth one is the truthfulness. And currently, it's the final leg that our religion-based cow is standing on. So truthfulness is the last pillar of religion that is left. So going deeper, one step further, we have for regulative. Sorry, Prabhuji.
One quick thing. So Gaurakumar Prabhu says in the chat, opposite of absolute truth is illusion. Question mark.
Sorry. So opposite of absolute truth, in basic terminologies, it is the relative truth, but opposite of truth itself, like the word truth, is illusion. When we say, thank you for bringing that up to the conversation, Prabhuji. Yes, illusion is an important term to address here. So opposite of truth is illusion. When we say that, for example, if I state a fact that the sun rises from the east, and somebody says, no, it doesn't, it rises from the west. So one is a fact that we have seen, have been proven, have been we evidence every day. And the other one, it's just a very basic, mundane, random example. And the other one is untrue. We can see based on the facts and evidences that no, it's not taking place that way. So the opposite of truth, the term truth, is illusion. Thank you so much, Proji, for bringing that up. Thank you, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu, for telling me that. I missed it. So next is 4 regulative principles that we keep hearing in ISKCONs: no intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating, no illicit relationship. So all of this is based on 4 pillars of dharma as well. Like no intoxication. Uh, Intoxication is, it destroys the pillar of austerity. Gambling destroys truthfulness. Meat eating, killing of the animals, it destroys the act of compassion, mercy. Illicit relationships, they involve destruction of cleanliness. So today we are going to focus on truthfulness, which also, just a second, which also, yeah, when gambling is done, like if the gambling part destroys the quality of truthfulness. So when I say that, like that gambling is like responsible for destruction of truthfulness, is it just gambling or are there other ways? And if I'm not gambling, am I maintaining truthfulness? Like, am I truthful enough? I'm not gambling. Does that state that, or does that convince you that I am truthful enough? So basically, what I mean to say, like, apart from gambling, there are other ways that can destroy truthfulness: speaking lies, acting unethically. So all of these, not missing any chat. Yeah, all of these destroy truthfulness as well. So, so far we discussed like briefly what truth means, what truthfulness is, honesty, absolute truth, relative truth, illusion, and like coming back to like initially what we read, Shukracharya, he wanted to, so just quickly, Vaman Dev, he asked 3 steps from Bali Maharaj, and Shukracharya, he knew that that's Lord Vishnu, and it's not going to go as simple as that. And he tried to convince Vaman Dev to just break his promise and not give those 3 steps of lands to Vaman Dev. And Vaman Dev's and Bali Maharaj still he complied with. He still stayed on his words. And something I think I didn't mention. So, has been mentioned, the definition of truthfulness is that a person whose word of honor, like who never breaks what he speaks. I think it's from Nectar of Instruction, if I'm not wrong. It's from Nectar of Devotion. So this has been taken from Nectar of Devotion, this definition that a person whose word of honor is never broken is called truthful. And we can clearly see that Bali Maharaj, he comes under this category. And now just switching some topics, coming to a real life, like what we deal, like this quality, how we deal with it. So just simple question, is truth always simple? Like, is it this quality? Like, are we all truthful? And if not, is it always simple? Like, what are some things that, like, why do we need to lie?
So
Some,
go ahead, Mataji. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sometimes people lie because of fear, sometimes to protect others.
Mm,
There may be other reasons also, but this some of the reasons.
mm. Nice, Mataji. Very true.
Mm.
Very true. As devotees, like as people practicing Krishna consciousness, trying to go to Krishna, what would be some reasons that one might end up lying or not speaking the truth?
Just a quick thing. So you asked if truth is always simple, right? So actually, if we really think about it, truth is actually simple. But then what is not simple and where we struggle as humans with our limitations is the consequence. The
Mm,
consequences of truth is what we don't want to kind of face, and that is why we lie and things like that. Even like, for example, you mentioned for devotees, right? The consequences of being truthful and telling whatever our parents and we don't want to get into that uncomfortable conversation. So yeah,
Mm.
truth is simple, but it can be uncomfortable. And when we often hesitate to get into that uncomfortable zone and discuss it out. So that is why truth, although it is simple, there is complexity involved when it comes to expressing it. So
Very nicely said, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. It's very true that truth in itself is simple, but how the consequence might come.
and this
Uh,
I'm saying after furnishing so many lies in the name of bhakti. So yeah, this is coming out of experience. Anyway, yeah.
yeah, at
Hare
some
Krishna.
point. Yes, Krishna
Yeah.
Prabhu.
So truth, people sometimes do lie because of their material desires, because they're trying to fulfill some desires which are not spiritual in nature, and so to fulfill those desires, sometimes they have to tell falsehoods.
Mm, true.
And about the question, is truth simple? Um, in the I think in the absolute term, in the spiritual world, truth is unambiguous, but in the material world, truth is always relative, because it
Mm,
depends on the vantage point that you're looking at it from. The same thing that one person finds right, another person may find wrong. So always in the material world, truth is complicated.
good point, Prabhuji. Thank you for mentioning that,
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So yeah, even in our daily lives, there might be situations in the workplace, in the family. Sometimes there are some people who, like family, they are not hospitable or hospice for Krishna consciousness. Same for workplace. Like you want to go to the temple, you have some important seva right there in the temple, but you have to go to the work as well. But you need to like take a break, something like that. And then the untruth or counterfacts or lying that come into scenario. But whenever a principle is emphasized, like principle of truthfulness here, there are two extremes that come into play. Like so the two extremes, they can be all important. Like the truth is all important. I'm all about truth, and truthfulness should be there, has to be there. If you are a devotee, not just a devotee, like even before I came to KC, I was very strongly principled, although I have lied as well. And I used to be like, no, truth is very important. If you lie to me, we might not be like as much close as we are. So it's like two extremes, like all important. If someone violated that principle, it's whole shattering catastrophe and all dramatic. In Sanskrit, it's called nemagraha, like insistence on that letter or role without understanding its true spirit. And the other extreme of that is it is utterly non-important, just non-gallantly, like neglecting and violating it and just talking about lies. We'll just quickly look into both of these extremes. So yeah, it's like the pendulum, either this extreme or that extreme. So yeah, what would happen if truthfulness is always all important? Like before I state uh, what I have, does anyone have any answer to that? Like, what do you think would happen if truthfulness is always thought to be like, I'm just going to speak truths?
So, Hare Krishna. So
Yeah.
when someone is not telling the truth, it affects others later, but it affects you first because you're not comfortable, you're not peace inside.
Mm,
When you say the truth, it it gives you a sense of fearlessness that I said the truth. But at the same time, it depends on how the truth is said. Sometimes we say truth in a way that it impacts other people. So that's something that needs to be kind of watched. But what will happen if truthfulness is always all important, is all important? So I'm sorry, what are we trying to say here? What will happen if truthfulness is always all important? So truthfulness is always important, right? What will happen? It's good for us. I think that, like what I said before, it's good for us. It keeps us clean inside, keeps light inside. I think that's the first impact.
Good point.
Can you explain the question a little bit more? What will happen
Yeah.
if truthfulness is always all important? Can you explain the question?
Yeah.
So, irrespective, thank you for asking that, Prabhuji. So, irrespective of circumstances, like if we decide like truthfulness is one of the essential qualities, one of the 26 qualities of a pure devotee, and I'm going to be truthful in every single circumstance from today.
Mm.
So, what will happen then? Is it all good? Is it like, what do you think might happen? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Truthfulness. If that seems, there could be circumstances where not speaking the truth may be required. For example, if you're trying to protect someone and somebody is coming into your house and people are coming to kill this person, and the person, you've allowed the person to hide in your house, and at that time, um, will you tell the truth and say this person is hiding in the house, or will you say, I don't know where the person is, and so that the killers go away? So if you're in a difficult situation like that, then you may not be able to um, you may not be able to protect another human being.
Very
Okay.
nicely said, Ruby. It's like you saw my next animations. I had this same exact example. Sorry, Sumal Mataji, you were saying something.
No, but I was just thinking what Krishna Prabhu said. So would it depend on who are we hiding? If we are hiding a thief or criminal, should we tell the truth? Or if we are hiding a good person being chased, uh, then yes, lying is good. Whom are we protecting? Example is that I'm forgetting the name. Shukracharya's mother, she protected Daityas who were troubling others. So the Krishna did not like that. Right? He in fact killed her because she was protecting Daityas who were causing pain to the others. But it's difficult to know whom are we protecting, because especially when we don't know them. But as a human, probably if somebody is coming to to protect your shelter, it becomes a responsibility to protect. Yes, but it's a little tricky, right?
Very practical point you brought up, Mataji. Like, yeah, it's subjective. It depends on the situations. Like, who are we protecting, and are we like you said, if it's a criminal, are we at gunpoint to protect that person? Like, what's going on? So basically, there are some emergent situations where we have to act like out of this truthfulness is always all important quality. Like, we have to act based on those emergent qualities. It's called apadharma, apada. Like during those emergent situations, like if someone is innocent and if we say yes, like if we tell those rioters, those goons, like, yeah, that person is taking refuge inside our place, we might be involved in that murder or lynching of that person. So we become the part of that karmic thing as well. So it's a very delicate yet a subjective thing
Mhm.
based on the situation. And as Karan Prabhu also mentioned in the chat, if we always stay all truthful, it may hurt people. Krishna himself, who is absolute truth, told Yudhishthir Maharaj to lie, which we
Mhm.
discussed last time. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. So truthfulness, like as I said, it's one of the extreme, like thinking, yeah, I'll be truthful. Like one of the things that has also been mentioned in past by acharyas is that detachment is a symptom of advancement in devotional service. And it's also said that similarly, truthfulness, which involves the like detachment from our own selfish interests sometimes, is also a parameter of spiritual advancement. So to seek that parameter, to just fulfill that, like some of us, if we know something, if we read, for example, if we read a scripture, if we read Bhagavad Gita, and I came to know like what the essence of the book means, and in general also, if I speak all truth, like not all truth, but most of the time truth, and I get that thing, like I only speak truth, and I have almost all the time spoken truth, and I know all the truth, I know the scriptures, I have read the scriptures, I know this pastime, that pastime. What do you think this brings in? Like, what do you think being too much truthful and knowing the truths bring in?
Pride.
Precisely. So, pride or ego joins the group of that seeking of truth, the reality, like comes into that chat. And it's you who added that because you keep on thinking, oh, I never speak lies. And you think yourself as truth angel, you put yourself on that pedestal. That it could be anything. It could be even like listening to some lectures and listening, like reading. We might think, hey, now I know it. Now I know that pastime. I wish somebody talks about that pastime. I tell them like how much I know. Like I'll be able to interact in that pastime. So often, when we are truthful or when we understand the glories of the scriptures and we realize that we know, like through those scriptures, that Krishna wants us to share this message, we may feel that we have that moral mandate to preach those message to others. And like, yeah, I just read like Krishna said in that Mahaprabhu wants me to preach the holy names to all cities, all villages, all over the world. And sometimes in that mood of passion, we might try to like, when again, it's about being all truthful or all knowing as well. We might come into that mood like, now I know everything, I need to teach everyone. But sometimes subconsciously or consciously, we might like try to overpower or dominate others. It might look little, again, it's all, the pride is very subtle. And through our words, action, behaviors, we might think of other people, oh, he's in ignorance, he doesn't know anything yet, and we might start looking down on someone, like even subtly as well, like, oh, they are yet to reach there. The thoughts could be anything, and we might start to use God's word as given in the scriptures as weapons to beat people on their heads. Like, I'm right, you're wrong. Sometimes I'm in, like, I have noticed myself like doing this once when I was talking to my cousin, and we were talking about something and he didn't know that part of it. And I was so adamant about that thing. Ki, "Oh, I know about it. I have read about it." So I have caught myself in such actions, like being so rigid about it. So even if people are doing wrong and we speak to them in self-righteous way, then that self-righteous way itself, it often becomes wrong, maybe more wrong. So we need to share Krishna's message, but we don't have to let our ego take us on that very high pedestal that we are sharing, for the message that we are sharing with other. And if we bring our ego in the picture, then the truth, which is meant to open people's heart and illuminate their heart, it will alienate people and it will create a shield around them. And then anything you say would be tough to penetrate through that, no matter what you speak in those cases. So, this is like one of the extremes that I wanted to share and what repercussions it could bring. And yeah, so basically, in the emergent situations and the ego or pride that might settle in. And ego and pride, they are so subtle that you do not have to be all truthful. Like if you are majorly truthful in too many situations, or where you could have avoided and you were still truthful, the ego and pride, they might still, they subtly enter in, and you might like subconsciously or unknowingly, unintentionally might act in a way that might be hurtful to others. Yes, Krishna Prabhu.
Well, Krishna, so you just gave me an aha moment, which is so that means truthfulness as a quality is only at the sattva level. It's not and sattva level is always dangerous. I remember from one of the classes before that sattvic, it's a sattvic level attribute, and if we stay at the sattvic level, then it's a trap. So we have to aspire to go from tamasic to rajasic to sattvic, but we cannot. If we stay at sattvic, also that's a trap. I can't remember now the class. I think it was Gaur Kumar Prabhuji's class. But thank you so much for sharing this. It made sense.
No, it's very true. It is at the sattvic level. Truthfulness is a mode of goodness quality. I think my screen shares down. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, it's mostly like you have seen my slides. I do have a point where I talk about this quality being at the sattvic mode. And my screen is not behaving. Sorry about this. Okay. Uh-oh. Wrong slide. Yeah. So, yes, we discussed how being on one extreme position can be dangerous. Now we are going to talk about how being on another extreme position might be dangerous as well. So what happens when we...
I have a
Yes,
question.
yes,
So,
Prabhuji.
like truthfulness is, we just discussed that truthfulness is on the level of sattva guna. So how does that reflect in a pure devotee's life? Because these are qualities of pure devotees that we are talking about, right? So how does that... So I guess what I mean to say is, what I mean to ask is, what is the difference between the truthfulness of a sattvic person and what is the truthfulness of a pure devotee? So that is what my question is. What is the difference between those two truthfulnesses, you will, like that?
So I'll try to answer this because I was just having this conversation before this class with Kumar Prabhu. And I would like him to I think I should let him answer first. First, no, I should not. I should let him answer this. If he's available. Prabhuji, can you answer this question?
About the Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's point?
Yeah, and in general as well, like the difference of truthfulness between...
So, in the case of pure devotees, I think for them, truthfulness is not that important, Prabhuji. I mean, it's not like their topmost priority, actually. Their priority is Krishna. And for that, truthfulness is just a means to get to Krishna, but it's not their everything. So, yeah, but we cannot artificially think that, because that can be dangerous. As Chaitanya Charan Prabhu was recently mentioning, that if we start thinking, then we'll start manipulating and justifying everything, saying that we are Krishna conscious. We can tell lies. Pure devotee can do that, but we cannot do that. So that because Chaitanya Charan Prabhu clearly explains that it's because we are always in the mode of passion or ignorance, and when we are in those two modes, we tend to manipulate a lot. And in that mode of manipulation, we start justifying that, oh, I am Krishna conscious, I am a devotee, so I can lie. So we have to be very careful that at our level, we must first reach that goodness platform and then go to pure goodness. If we are not there yet, then it's better to know where we are. So, but for pure devotees, as you are asking, pure devotees, for them it's completely Krishna. But we cannot imitate that. And many times we tend to do that. We tend to imitate that we are at that level, so we can lie and we can do things. For example, Sanatan Goswami lied, Rupa Goswami lied in one sense, but they were pure devotees and they had completely Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in their mind all the time, 24 by 7. But do we have that is the question. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Does anyone have anything else to add? And does this answer your question, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ratma Prabhuji. Thank you for this question, Prabhuji. Okay, so the next extreme is that it is utterly not important. So when we think that truthful, like the next extreme, like truthfulness is not really important, we start like the lying, it becomes a non-inherent habit. And then there are karmic consequences as well. And then we get into that network of lies. We get caught in our own lies. And then we have to remember which lie or what did we tell to this person or that person. So apart from this, as a devotee, there is something even more dangerous that might take place if we keep speaking lies. Does anyone know? Like in general, like all of these are there, like karma is there and making our lives miserable is there if we keep speaking like lies. But as a devotee, as a person practicing Krishna consciousness, if we speak lies and if we make that as a habit, like as a constant habit of lying, what why is it more dangerous?
It will take us away from Krishna.
True. Very true, project. Yeah.
Hare
So sorry,
Krishna,
Mataji.
is it trust also? When we keep lying, people will not trust us. Even if we are, even in Krishna consciousness, it becomes even more important if we are talking with Krishna. And if they know that we lie, they might consider what we talk about Krishna is also a lie. So it's a trust, right?
Very true.
So if we tell the truth, people trust you that okay, this individual, this person doesn't tell lie, so we can trust in whatever he or she says. Even though
Very important.
the point that we discussed before can happen also, but it's a when you said it becomes sanskar, right? If you keep lying, it becomes sanskar, and you start lying in everything. So it's a slippery slope that if you keep lying, the point of sattvic sattva also. I was thinking. I didn't ask before this question. So if it's keep us in sattva, should we not tell the truth then?
We'll come to that, Madhuri.
All right.
Just the next slide.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
have the answer.
We'll save this question. It's a really good question. Like, what do we even do? Yeah. Thank you for asking that. We'll address that really soon. Like I'm not saying I have the answer, but yeah, I have something close to that. So
Okay.
yeah, in just 2 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you for mentioning what you mentioned, Suman Mataji and Jagannath Kripal Prabhu. Like as devotees, yeah, it will take us farther away from Krishna because we are just putting more and more layers, and it will take away people's faith in us. And yeah, we are not just meant to practice bhakti, we are also representing bhakti. Like we are representing Krishna. And individually, yeah, internally, it is like harming us, and externally as well. Like people around us, they'll see us just lying and speaking counterfactual things. Then by our actions, we are misrepresenting Krishna as well. We are misrepresenting Krishna consciousness, bhakti as well. Because people, they start thinking, oh, these people, they are practicing Krishna consciousness, but they are still lying. They don't have the basic value of truthfulness. So we might harm the mission of Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada as well if we just develop this as habit. So we do have this responsibility of not like one, going closer to Krishna, cleansing that heart, and two, we need to exhibit morality and truthfulness in our day-to-day conduct as well, like apart from those emergent situations. So now, as Suman Mataji was mentioning, like her question is more or less, I can change my slide. Yeah, about what do we do in in sattva mode about truthfulness if we cannot speak truth? Like, what do we even do? So yeah, there are four modes: ignorance, passion, goodness, and then transcendence. Transcendence, like the topmost. And we cannot give up goodness nonchalantly. As long as we are in the material world, we want to be on that topmost level, but we have to function in this world. And in this world, everything is comprised of modes, Gurnamai, this world. So we have to choose the mode of functioning which is the most effective, most helpful in the scenarios, in different circumstances, and for our own practice of bhakti. So truthfulness, it comes in the mode of goodness. And so we again, we look up to bhakti like being on trying to be on that transcendental level, but not every single time our motives are that pure, that we want to speak the truth out of goodness as well. But we can try to like avoid the contamination of passion and ignorance, and we can try to progress towards transcendence. For practical functioning, it is important that we definitely uh, maintain that foundation of religion, truthfulness, as one of the, we keep that in our mind that it is one of the foundation of the religions, and it is foundation, it is dharma of our bhakti as well. So, yeah, again, like remembering that truthfulness is important. It is one of the qualities, but it is not all important. We are devotees of Krishna, we are not devotees of truthfulness. So, if we always stick to the principle of truthfulness, then again, as I mentioned in past, that the emergency situations, they might become catastrophic. And there are such times where we consider the principles, like we consider principle higher than truthfulness, the absolute truth, as mentioned. So there are a few examples in scriptures who, like some of them, Kalkumar Prabhu he mentioned, like, and Soham Prabhu also mentioned, Yudhishthir Maharaj and Sanatan Goswami, Kalkumar Prabhu mentioned. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, we saw last week how he chose absolute. He was initially he was hesitant to speak that Ashwatthama was dead. He knew that was elephant, so he was hesitant to speak. But he did listen to Krishna. He did say that, and Sanatan Goswami as well. Just to briefly mention, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Sanatan Goswami he was in jail, he made that plan to escape the prison. And that time he told the jailer that I'm planning to go to go on a pilgrimage in Makkah, and I'll pray that you'll also get the benefit of a person going on pilgrimage as well. So now he wanted to go to Vrindavan and to take shelter of Mahaprabhu, and he was not going to Makkah, but that's what he told, because it was emergent situation, it was emergency. He wanted to be with his brother, he wanted to be in the association of Mahaprabhu. And we cannot imitate, because these people, they were constantly, as Prabhuji said, they were constantly thinking of Krishna. uh, and even Krishna, he mentions that in Bhagavad Gita, that every endeavor, it is covered by some fault. Yes, Prabhuji.
But so in the case of Sanatan Goswami, the
Mhm.
first lie that comes is when he tells that he's sick and actually he's at
Mhm.
home reading Bhagavatam. Do you remember that pastime?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
So we to mention that he was always in Apad Dharma may be a little
Mm.
tricky because, okay, I agree. When he was in the jail, it was Apad Dharma, it was an emergency situation, he wanted to escape. But then every day telling to his manager that I'm
Mm.
sick with stomach pain and I'm just lying down at home when he was actually reading Bhagavatam with saints. So, how do we understand that? So, yeah, I mean, if you have any thoughts.
Yeah, I don't have any thought except like him choosing the higher purpose, like in the non-conducive environment. That was his way of choosing higher purpose. And again, as you said, Prabhuji, he had Krishna always in his head. So he did not have any ulterior motive. He was not choosing for lower purposes, like for lower principles.
So
So
can we do the same? Like, I don't want to take too much
yeah,
time, but can we do the
no,
same
no,
and
no.
tell our managers that, oh, I'm sick, but then you go to temple and attend Janmashtami program, for example?
Yeah, I have that slide as well, Prabhuji. This
Okay,
is
okay,
my
okay.
question for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Sounds good. Okay.
I'll be there soon. Before that, I just want to check with Suman Mataji with her truthfulness in the mode of goodness question. Mataji, did I somewhere answer that question or do you still have that question? If yes, can you please repeat that question?
No, you did that. Thank you. No, it's clear. Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Mataji.
just quick thing, Ma. So, Nandini Mataji had raised her hand also
Oh, I
a
missed it.
few minutes ago, and she's put a message on the chat as well from Gita 3 by His Holiness SB Keshav Swami. So, this is what Maharaj writes. If someone tells a lie loud enough and long enough, others begin to accept it as truth. When enough people are convinced by that quote unquote truth, it becomes a culture. If that culture is somehow transmitted to the next generation, it becomes a tradition. Such traditions and the worldviews and behaviors they espouse become etched into society, followed by millions, usually without question. Our weapons of mass instruction, educational systems, media powerhouses, community structures reinforce these traditions, causing untruth to perpetuate over decades and centuries, blind leading the blind, all completely oblivious to the illusion. So,
Mm.
very powerful. And also, you wanted to say something, Mataji, that time?
Yeah, thank you for sharing this, Nandini Devi. Would you like to share more or expand? Or sorry, I missed your hand. For
Uh, he shared it. I was not the one who shared it.
okay, Ritesh Prabhu, would you like to share more? Thank you, Nandini Devi.
No, nothing more. I was just saying one more thing previously was like the truth involves two-person. When you said like just being right part, it involves true person because it's not just about like we need to get things right. It's about getting thing across. So we
Mm,
need to know who we are saying, what we are saying, and yeah, that is one way to kind of understand what how to exercise truthfulness in yeah what I can understand with little understanding.
thank you so much, Guruji. Yeah, the excerpt you shared, yeah, it very well shows how the habit of lying or even just one little lie that might transmit through generations of generations might become a tradition itself. And yeah, and what destruction it might cause. Thank you for sharing that. And Nitya Mataji says, by constantly lying, we think we can get away with it, but we are only lying to ourselves. Very true. Like we just get uh spiraling down in that loophole. Like, yeah, it's just it just gets more and more destructive. And so on Prabhu, he mentions he replies to oh yeah, Gautama Prabhu, he replied to Soham Prabhu that that was not a lie, but the absolute truth because it came from Krishna. Thank you. So yeah, Krishna mentions that every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. So when we live in a non-devotional environment, we cannot escape it. Like we have it everywhere. So Krishna, he mentions here uh, in this particular verse that all endeavor it is covered by some fault, just like fire is covered by smoke. And in today's world, the smoke is far greater than it usually used to be. There is one letter by Prabhupada. He wrote it to Jawaharlal Nehru back in 1952, where he was comparing like how the smoke is actually greater in these times. Like initially, the problems used to be of roti, kapda, makan, food, shelter, uh and resting, like and now the problem, like people did not have these big problems that we have now. We have buildings, more the facilities we have, more new problems we have. So in today's world, the problems are different and on a much larger scale as well. And the sometimes again, as we were talking initially, like the work environment, it is often non-devotional. Relatives are also there. And now in those cases, being truthful is important, but you're practicing, like this is for devotees and specifically this I'm quoting from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, that being devotees, being truthful is important, but in your heart, like, that being devoted to Krishna is even more important. So there are some times, like for the purpose of our bhakti, again, it's not always, this is for certain emergent situations where you do not have any choice other than not speaking the facts. Like he gives this example, like we may have to do some selective disclosure of the truth. Like for example, Sanatan Goswami, he was planning to go on pilgrimage. That was not a lie, but he said Makkah instead of Vrindavan. So it was not a precise truth either, but there was element of truth in it. But like that, sometimes selective disclosure of truth may be required so that we can pursue our devotional path in an environment. But there are some loopholes with it, that sometimes we know that we make certain adjustment by not stating the facts, but we have to do them very cautiously with awareness that there might be there is karmic culpability to those, there is a responsibility. Now given all these things, like I really like the question Gaurakumar Prabhu he raised, like what do we do, like do we start just in the name of uh, our devotion, our bhakti, do we just start lying? And like then we get into that loop, that something CCP he terms it as honestly dishonest. uh, so there are emergent situations when we know that there is a possible great reversal coming, and that time we know that what to choose, like truthfulness or a higher principle. So sometimes that choosing that higher principle may be necessary, but we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to see that whom am I doing it for? Like, for example, if I'm lying to my manager that, oh, I'm not feeling well, and then internally, I'm like, okay, I need to go to temple. I need to be very honest with myself. Am I choosing it for my own convenience because I just want to escape my dharma, like at work, for my own pleasure, for my, is it escapism, is it bhakti? Like we have to be extremely honest to ourselves. We can, like, you can go to the temple on weekend or some other time, you can manage it. Like everything is important. Like this is given in Bhagavad Gita as well. We all have our own natures, we all have been working, we all should work according to our natures as well. So based on those natures, that work is important as well, and bhakti is important as well. So we need to check, we need to like journal or talk to someone we trust with our mentors, that to discern that am I choosing it for Krishna, am I choosing it for bhakti, or am I choosing it for me? Is it a higher principle or a lower principle that revolves around my convenience, my pleasure? So I have seen serious impact of lying on relationship. Can we choose both high principle and truthfulness? Can you elaborate on that question, Mataji?
I mean, thank you, Hare Krishna. So discussion is going towards that we can do one of the two. Either we choose higher principle or we don't choose truthfulness. It can be both also, right? We choose the higher principle, we tell the truth also, we exercise truth as well. So are there situations where we have to pick one of the two? Could it be both? I mean, there can be zillions of examples, but I mean, dharma also shifts, right? Based on where we are on the dharma, what are we trying to protect and what are we trying to do? It could be both, right? When we tell the truth, sometimes we just, put it on person's face. Okay, this is the truth, whether he or she feels good or not. It could be truth, but nicely. So then we are not, like the example of manager, I can tell the manager, I have this religious activity. I need to go to satsang. It's important to me. I'm prioritizing this. I will be going it and taking a day off rather than saying, "Oh, I'm sick." It could be both, right? So what's the fee? I mean, I'm trying to understand, like, why do we have to choose one of the two? It could
Yeah,
be both.
thank you for asking this, Mataji. That particular example is for those situations where we do not have that option to choosing both.
Mm.
And even for choosing one of those, you need to like be sure why you are choosing what you are choosing. Why is
Mm.
very important in all the
Mm.
decisions we make.
Mm.
And regarding telling the manager the truth, like the example you gave, for me personally, I don't think it would work because it might land as that I'm choosing that activity more important than my actual work. Because taking a leave for satsang or any temple religious based activity, like holidays once in a while, once in a year, or however your relationship with your manager is, because that also matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, once in a while it might go okay, but like doing that on a regular basis, I don't think it would land well, because it will go in that context that you are prioritizing something else from what you're being paid for. So this is my opinion on that. Regarding choosing one of those, yeah, it's not in all regular situations. Those are some tough situations where you need to make a decision. Like sometimes for me, it would be, I don't know if that fits here. Like one time, my I'm aspiring, like my spiritual master, he was visiting the town, and I wanted to like be there very strongly. Like I had that desire. It's not an example, like it's not ideal thing to do, but at that day I was like, I need to go. I want to go there. I did told like I didn't say anything to my boss, but I didn't tell the truth either. I do not usually say that, oh, I am a Hare Krishna devotee and I'm going to like, even when we go on like New Vrindavan or these things, I just say like we booked Airbnb and all those things. So in a way, I'm not lying. Like, again, this is mind's thing. Like, I
Mm.
can try to justify it, but I'm selectively doing that, selectively disclosing. I can give you one more example where I was discussing it with my sister-in-law. So I was that time I lied. I straightway lied, but I don't know if you consider that I am not. So I was in Matchless gift shop, and I was there all by myself. And that time the Verizon thing happened. And I was going to share this with Jagannath Gopal Prabhu as well. So this was the thing, Prabhuji, that I was going to share with you. So I was there, and Verizon shutdown happened, and there were scams that were taking place, that people were entering the residences and premises saying that we are Verizon employees and all those things, and they would just loot or do criminal activities and all those things. So one person, just my sister-in-law, she just told me that one evening before. Manjari Gopi Mataji, she just told me one evening before that this has been happening. Be careful. So one person knocked and they came in at 26 Second Avenue, and they were like, "I'm from Verizon," and I really got scared, like what to do next. So that time, what they asked me, there's Prabhupada DT just in the center, and they were like, "That person sitting over there, is he a real person sitting over there?" I'm like, "Yes, he is." And that day, oh, that's cool. And he left after that because he realized that I'm not alone. So in a sense, he is a real person. Prabhupada is very real there. So there are situations like that where it just comes from within, like maybe the Chaitya Guru, maybe the Paramatma in the heart, it also supports. And something that CCP mentions, if we diligently practice our bhakti, uh, okay, if we diligently practice our bhakti, Krishna also provides that inner illumination. Like we can catch our mind, we can see if we are speaking those things for higher principle or lower principles. So I don't know if I answered you, Mataji.
Yeah, no, I understand what explanation. I mean, it depends on the situation, right? In a way, if I'm telling my manager or my employee is asking me that, okay, I have a personal priority, it doesn't have to say what exactly that personal priority is, but that's okay. That's not, it's not lying, but it doesn't need to be explained. So it, yeah, it depends on the situation, what you're trying to accomplish, and who's benefiting from what. Yeah, well, I understand your explanations. Yeah, thank
Yeah, yeah, but I try to like,
you.
this is very delicate. Like
Mhm.
when this might become a habit, we'll not know, and we might keep saying these things in name of bhakti as well. I would like to hear from devotees if they have anything to say. Like we might rationalize our dishonest behavior, saying, rationalizing them that, oh, I did it for this reason. And the more dangerous part is we actually start believing in what we are saying. Like, yeah, I did it for this person. And that might not be true. Like, that is even more dangerous in believing in our own lies. So, yeah, I would like to hear, like, this is all I had, like journaling and questioning ourselves. Am I doing this for higher principle or lower principles? But mine has this very strong tendency to make us believe what it wants to believe. And then talking to someone we trust, that like our mentors or our peers or anyone whom we have faith in, and then practicing and praying to Krishna as well to protect us. But yeah, I would really like to hear
So
from the
I have
devotees.
something, and this is really something that took a toll on me last year. So Guru Maharaj came, and then one of the days I took a sick leave. I'm very shameless in such things. Even recently, if you remember Nupur and other devotees, I took a sick leave on Friday, and I, did so many things. Yeah, actually, that's right. That's a good question. It's 9:43. Anyway, I might take like 5 minutes on this. I don't want to do that. But I agree with the principle that we have to see, and in terms of office, workplace, yes, you can lie, that is one, or you can conceal the truth, or you can tell the outright truth. And telling the outright truth can get you into trouble, as you mentioned, that Nupur, that colleagues might think I'm prioritizing these things more than work, especially during work. TK, you do whatever you have to towards the end of the day, or after the work day is over. But why morning? Why do you want to miss meetings by doing this? So like that. So yeah, it's about, we just have to, and this is my something my colleague also mentioned. Don't tell the truth. Why are you telling the truth? Just say that you have an appointment. Nobody's going to ask you anything. So like that. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Virgin. It's a classic example. If we decide to say truth in these situations. Thank you for mentioning that. Anyone else, like, who wants to say anything? Like, how do they try to keep themselves in check? Like, whether they are speaking counterfactual things or a higher principle or lower principle, or like, yeah, anything if anyone wants to add.
Yeah, I can share something that has happened once, and it had made an impact on me. And ever since I've been doing differently, is that whenever I tell anyone, give an excuse of my health or somebody's health as a reason, that person eventually has gotten sicker. And and that exact same illness, like for example, headache or stomach ache or whatever it is that I've said, couple of times it has come true. And ever since, this happened when I was younger, and so then somebody pointed out, I think it was probably my mom, pointed out that, when we never say, use sickness as an excuse, to cover up a truth, you do something else, but don't, like, yeah, like I know my friends, they just left and right say my kid has a headache, my kid has this, my kid has that, but the kid will be perfectly fine. They just need to have something. But I'm actually, I told them, don't do that. Eventually they might get something. So that is like, so certain things that happen in your young life that this just etched in your head. So I never use sickness as an excuse since then, because I know that. And even in the, like, it's just striking for me, but I may be completely off the chart to say this. Maybe I may even get dinged for this, but Sanatan Goswami got sicker later on. He was complaining of his sickness. I mean, like, lie, not lied, but did not tell the truth about, attending. And then he was saying he was having some stomach aches and stuff. But he did get sicker later on. I don't know, if there is some truth to this, or I may be completely off on this. But, for me, I rather say, um, like it's the thing that Ritesh Prabhu also shared from Gita, like Gita 3, right? Like, um, when things, like, we give importance to things that are actually, like, for example, it would be okay to say, oh, I'm going on a 7-day cruise, right? And then I may that may be a lie, but that may look like a nice lie, right? Rather, instead of saying that, I may go on a 7-day yatra, people would be happy to accept, like, even if your manager would be happy to accept, oh, you're going on a 7-day cruise, why do you go? But then when you say that 7-day yatra, maybe it's not that cool. That is how the truth has become, so far away. That is what he's saying, the decades and decades of saying that, oh, this is the right thing to do, to go enjoy ourselves in vacation, to go, do something for yourself, or go shopping, or do whatever. Shopping is not bad thing, but I'm just saying, those things are like given, or like okay to do. Okay to, yeah, oh, shopping is great, yeah, go ahead. Or planning for somebody's birthday party or something, or planning for a going to a wedding event, those are all okay. But what is not okay is having our own, telling the truth about, oh, I'm actually going on a weekend for sadhu sangha. That may not be okay. Like, how weird is this, right? Like, to even say this, for me, it's like, I'm okay to say, oh, what are you doing on a Memorial Day weekend? I'm going to stay in a nice a resort. Oh, what do you do in the resort? Nothing. But actually, we are going to resort and listen to Kirtan. Why can't we say that? Why can't we say all the way, right? I mean, it's just, yeah, we are, but I know some people who are truly religious, they speak out saying, yeah, dance all day on cool music. Yeah, that is truth. Yeah, what kind of music? Right, that's when the rubber meets the road. I guess.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, bro. I'm sorry, I'm just blabbering
No,
something.
no,
But
no, no. This is very useful because I heard a Namras podcast many years ago, now 2, 3 years ago. This was a person who came on this famous show. He's a Hare Krishna. He's a Prabhupada disciple, and I think he's an actor. And he came in a South Korean show, which was very popular. I haven't seen that show, but people said that it's a very, very popular show. So he came on that show. So he was talking about his life, and he used to, tell people that he's vegetarian and he doesn't eat onion, garlic, or whatever, and it doesn't drink. And in the film industry, what he said was that caused enviousness, and people couldn't relate to it, and people started shunning him because of that. And I think George Harrison also said something similar, where George Harrison would once in a while go on these spiritual things, and he would talk spiritual things, and all his friends would be doing drugs, and he would just his friends would just shun him, and he would his creative group would not he would not get to hang out with them or something like that. So the thing is, once so even I'm rambling right now, but I'll quickly come to the point. So I didn't mean to say that you were rambling. I'm actually rambling. The so when we say something like, I'm going on a spiritual retreat or something like that, uh, in current society, it is seen as we people perceive it as we are above them, and that causes them to get upset. And so I was thinking about this, and so then this verse, anadvegam karam vakyam, comes to our mind, where anything that we say, even if it's the truth, even if it's spiritual, if it upsets somebody, then it's not worth saying. We have to find the right people to say it to. So just thought I'll add my 2 cents. Hare Krishna. But very good points, though.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely time, place, and circumstance has to be, put in place for mentioning whatever we have to mention. But I'm just saying the how far the world has gone away from hearing the truth is and making this material world a nice permanent place to enjoy and to yeah.
Yeah, very nice and real life points, Mataji. Like, yeah, that's how it happens. Like,
So
we can.
one,
Yes, yes,
sorry,
yes, yes.
continue.
Okay.
Complete
No,
that.
no,
Yeah. No, you complete
no,
that.
no. Say it, Guruji.
So just one question we can probably ponder upon is telling spiritual truths for certain things at workplace could be perceived as, proud and things like that. But what if when we are there in the workplace, we connect to our colleagues in a very genuine way? Like, yeah, we make we make jokes, we laugh together, we of course we discuss the work things together, but also we have that kind of a bond with them, like a genuine bond. And then if you say, I'm going on a spiritual retreat, uh, could maybe that will not be taken as negatively as we might think, like that. So just one question. I know this doesn't apply everywhere, and yeah, absolutely, but at least to soften the blow, right? If we have that genuine connection with everyone, uh, right?
That is very true, actually, Jagannath Prabhu. It's a relationship that you have built, or the trust you have built, and they know who you are. When you say that to those people, they don't feel offended or upset. And they know that's how you are. That's part of the kind of life that you live, and they accept it without getting upset. Yeah. I've done at my workplace. In one of the offsite meetings, one of the colleagues was affected by some overwork and had gone sick. So I suggested the next meeting, let's start the meeting with meditation for 10 minutes. And one of the colleagues said, can you lead that? And I said, sure. I actually ended up doing that for 15 minutes meditation for the whole meeting in the beginning of the meeting. So people have appreciated that. So they know, what kind of life who lives, and they accept that. Because,
Oh, thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for this discussion. Yeah, it's very important, and it definitely depends on the relationship you share with your uh, managers, advisor, bosses. Like sometimes I do tell my boss that I'm going to the temple because he's very honest in whatever he's doing. So yeah, it definitely depends on the relationship you are building. Just to quickly go on something that we have been discussing all along, like how to serve the unpalatable truths. Like not all truths are uh, flowery, and there are times that we have to tell people the truths. And we actually have this natural tendency whenever we see something doing something wrong, we feel tempted to tell them immediately. Like some of us, we have this temptation more than others. Like, and if our words hurt them and they protest, we may defend ourselves that truth is bitter. So truth may be bitter, but it does not have to be conveyed bitterly. It can be conveyed politely, sensitively, and encouragingly. Given this thing, it's not necessary to always speak the truth, something that Krishna Prabhu also mentioned. Like, so Keshav Swami Maharaj, he mentioned these 3 points to talk about advice. Like somebody asked him the question about advice, and he mentioned 3 things. Is it necessary to be said? Like, think about it. Like, is it necessary to be said? Is it the right time? And am I the right person to say it? So it very much depends on like who is speaking it, what is speaking it, and like why the person is speaking it. So even like Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, he gave this analogy of the surgeons. But like when they operate on some person, they minimize the distress that is going to be caused. They do not tell you, oh, your this nerve is going to be hurt. I'm going to cut this, and then I'm going to stitch, and that's how it's going to hurt. No, they actually focus on the healing part of it. Like they actually shift the focus from the pain to the healing that will soon follow. So instead of like plotting our ego, like instead of trying to like being superior, of telling the truth or being trying to feel good with ourselves, like I am bold and honest and I'm brutally honest, you can just be lovingly honest. Like there are these terms like brutally honest and lovingly honest. Even with preaching, like I like if you tell that person, if someone is coming, like even in book distribution, someone is coming to you, you won't tell them like, sometimes people do like, "जी कोई खुशी नहीं है इस दुनिया में, there is no happiness, this is दुखालय में शाश्वत हूँ." I'm like, then why do I even trust you if everything is like temporary and there is absolute no happiness? So the truths, they might be better. Again, it's very important how they are being delivered. Yeah. So purpose of truth is to elevate and us ourselves and others spiritually. And there is this verse in Bhagavad Gita that the austerity of speech, it consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, and beneficial, not agitating others. I really find this very important whenever I get this temptation to like say anything, reveal any truth. So the let the truth we speak it open the hearts and enrich the hearts, our hearts and the hearts of other people with Krishna's wisdom, devotion, and let that develop love within our hearts and within the hearts of other people. Having said that, based on the discussions we had, I really pray and hope that we catch ourselves and we stay in the awareness of like when we are speaking truth and when we are manipulating ourselves. It's very important, and it's very important to have someone in our lives that we trust as much as we trust our minds, and little bit sometimes maybe more than we trust our minds in those lower situations when we are in those low phases. Just lastly, like why do I be truthful? So this is my own speculation and like uh so this so Cheta Darpana Marjanam. So to cleanse the heart, and it makes sense to like to cleanse the heart, it's the first step to like remove those layers. And how we can remove those layers is by being truthful and honest to ourselves. And Radhanath Maharaj, he mentions that humility is all about truthfulness and honesty. So yeah, let's just spray that little bit of truthfulness. Like journaling is all about being truthful to ourselves. So, yeah. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for the discussion, for the questions you brought in. And I hope and pray that uh, forgive me if I made any mistake here. And I hope that, and if you have any more questions, we can definitely take those up in the group as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. And I'm going to ask you a question, and you can tell me the truth. Which is, were you able to complete all your slides?
I was able to complete my slides, but I had some like those like truthfulness versus humility and glorifications, those kind of thing. I can maybe like ask those questions in the group.
Okay, sorry, this.
No. I didn't have slides for those because I knew I wouldn't be able to finish those. So yeah, this is my last slide.
Got it. But thank you, Ma. This was really nice. Wonderful discussion, lot of depth, and thank you for preparing so well, so many perspectives. It was very nourishing. Thank you very much, Ma.
Thank you, Prati. Okay, we can
Yeah,
end.
very
You-
nice class, Nupur. You covered many different aspects from different perspective, different angles. So thank you for that, and all glories to your effort and the preparation and how you connected Bali Maharaj to this pastime. Nitya and me were discussing how will Bali Maharaj fit into this particular quality, and then you brought it out very nicely, actually. So thank you. There was Bhagavatam, there was mode of goodness, there was unconditional love. There were so many things. So thank you, thank you. Hare
So
Krishna.
just a quick tidbit, when I asked Nupur if she wants to cover truthfulness, she said yes, and then I told her take a few days and decide your personality. And then she's like, that same day she didn't tell me the name of the personality. She directly sent me the verse of Veda base that Bali Maharaj is speaking the truth, or whatever that verse was. And I'm like, okay, wow, I don't need more clarification on
So
this.
the truth for that is that when I searched truthfulness, Ajamil and Bali Maharaj came up. So hence Bali Maharaj. But yeah, I actually thank you for mentioning that. I wanted to apologize for not connecting it with Bali Maharaj enough. Like I mainly focused on the quality more, but I didn't connect it enough.
But
Yeah,
I
I
think it was very self-explanatory
Yeah.
from reading the verses. I think, yeah, it's for me this discussion leading to our how this applies to our day-to-day lives is more relatable. And then reading the Bhagavatam verses gives us more understanding of how important truthfulness was for Bali Maharaj, coming from the lineage of Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah.
yeah, even Vaman Dev, he appreciated him for that, which I did not cover.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Enjoyed the class end to end. Thank you. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. With my show up, Babu.
Thank you, Ma. Good night.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.